Hello, and welcome back to another DCU Daily. I'm back after a short absence of yesterday. Just needed a little bit of a break. I apologize if anybody was, upset about my absence, but I'm here. Don't worry. And you guys were just talking about Green Lantern stuff yesterday, and now we're talking about the same thing today because it has just been dropped that despite Stephen James being apparently the front runner, well, they're like, nope, to hell with that. Aaron Pierre, he is our next John Stewart. So we're going to be talking about all of that today, as well as a little bit of Peacemaker. But it's mainly, it's mainly Green Lantern because that's what, you guys really like. I got my Green Lantern rings on just for you guys. And today I am joined once again by Bridget. And Bridget, how are you doing today?
Hey, John, I'm doing good. It's good to see you again, and I've been away for a little bit. So yeah, we're just talking about all this yesterday and kind of discussing between Stephen and Aaron. And so it's like, wow, just waking up today to find out that it's really gone against what the news was before, and Aaron's been cast. So that's really exciting, and I know a lot of fans will be happy about that.
I think, yeah. I mean, with the amount of people here, just here alone, that have been campaigning, campaigning madly
Yeah.
for Aaron Pierre, so much so that you guys pretty much single-handedly convinced me that Aaron Pierre would be an excellent John Stewart. And you know what? I'm psyched for it. I mean, I
Yeah.
mean, his eyes right there match. I
I
mean, even
know.
though,
I mean, just the
that's
eyes.
he
You're
does
like,
they don't even
whoa.
need the CGI. He just needs to have his, hazel
Yeah.
eyes just be like bam right there. But I
Yeah.
think,
I think
yeah,
the
I mean,
campaigning
people,
obviously worked and,
yeah,
got sent
clearly.
and manifested what people
All
wanted.
right, Derpy. All right. There's a reason that Derp is your name. No, I'm just kidding. But I will say, like, this, I was initially like iffy about the whole thing. Like, not that he would be a bad choice, it's just that he's a very, like, I don't know. I joked that he looked more like a J. Crew model than
I mean, yeah.
than John Stewart. But it's like, look at Henry Cavill, the himbo that everybody loves. So
Right.
I guess it can work. I was just, but like he has a very like angled face, very beautiful
You're right.
eyes, very
Very
glowing skin. I'm like,
chiseled,
yeah.
defined.
So I was like, I don't know. But then as more images came out, I'm like, and the more I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? I mean, this whole industry, especially the superhero industry, is like known to be about like beautiful people. Very
Looks.
rarely do you have someone who's not like bronze god, like 10 out of 10 playing these guys. And if they're
Right.
not, it's played for a joke. So,
Right.
it's, yeah, honestly, from what little I've seen of him, I have yet to see um I exactly.
And but
I
I
have
kind of think that's fair too. Is
it
I
is a
think
little fair.
subconsciously I wasn't thinking about it so much yesterday, but now that you say it, I think part of me even thought like, oh, Stephen James could be a choice that they're going for if they want someone who's maybe, a little more realistic, didn't have a lot of leading roles before. So this could be like his come up as his character. That was
Yeah.
what I was thinking, was maybe he is a little too perfect, a little too beautiful, a little too polished. So I think it really,
Yeah.
they had two flavors to pick from there. I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything
And
wrong.
the yeah, and but the main thing was like everyone was like after Rebel Ridge came out, they're like, all right, this guy needs to be John Stewart. So
No,
he's like he
yeah.
played a Marine there, and now they're like, all right, now he has to play John Stewart. But it helped that
Yes.
Aaron Pierre was in the running before that movie, and then
Right.
it
Yeah.
came out after the fact. So I do think, I mean, I think like pretty or non pretty, I think he will do
He-
a fantastic job in the role.
yeah.
And, I have yet to see Rebel Ridge. A couple of my buddies watch it and they said they're like, yeah, this guy's really good. And this guy's good at
Hmm.
playing a Marine and he can like
Yeah.
sell that. So I'm like,
Right.
all right, let's go now. And I'm excited. Like,
Yeah.
and the fact like makeup exists. Like here's the thing, the images they showcase in like articles like this, you can see it right there, and like are all like headshots they're shoots
Yes.
that he's modeling for something, like, or like he's like where he looks like his best. Like, obviously when he's doing a movie where he's like grungy, sweating, like maybe dirty, maybe like covered in like dirt and blood and or like whatever, like ooze, like cosmic ooze.
Yeah.
So it's like when
It'll
he's gonna be dingy, when he's gonna be covered, he's not
with
gonna
the
look like
bad
a pretty boy.
lighting.
Yeah,
Yes, you're
the
right.
stark lighting and all that. There's a lot of
I also
things that go into the movie magic. So
I
I
also
think
I've
that's
also
thrown to the wayside. But yes, what are you gonna say? Sorry.
no, I think you're right. And I also saw some photos of him in other projects he'd done without his facial hair, and it does give him a totally different look, I think, too.
Hmm.
So if they don't have him without that, I think that too could really lend to maybe giving him a more not so, like, as you said, like glamorous look.
Yeah.
Because I think it does, as you say, kind of gives that like sexy model vibe, but it's the photo style for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember, maybe Dan, you could pull them up. Pictures of him in Rebel Ridge where he is like grungy and sweaty and like, has like guns and shit. So like where he looks like, he's not pretty, he's not, you
Yeah.
know, he looks gross. He's like trying to like get, I believe, revenge for, I think his brother got put in prison or something for something he didn't do, and then he has to like break him out.
Yeah.
And it's like I've heard it's like very Rambo First Blood-esque, where it's like
Hmm.
going against like a very corrupt system type of thing. I think it was like civil something or other. um I would have to look it up, but yeah, I do think that, yeah, like something like, right, like, yeah, like with the lighting, with like next to Don Johnson, like he's got the muscles, he's
He
got
still
the,
looks wonderful.
he he does, but
Yeah,
like
I
he's a
know what
little
you
bit
mean.
like
Yeah. Yeah,
grungier
you're right.
there a
A
little
little
bit.
more realistic.
Yeah, like look at that.
Yeah.
Like he looks disgusting there. Like, it's, well, not
Yeah.
disgusting, but like he's all gross and sweaty. Like,
they,
I know
they
people
could,
would be
yeah,
into that
tone
more,
it down.
but
It'd be like,
whatever it
oh, but
is.
yeah, no, I know what you mean. I mean, and if anything, like getting cast in this, as you said, he was already in the running before, but it's kind of very great for him to be cast in something like this. Just a great kind of way to profile and show what he was capable of in that character, because it really is a lateral move into Green Lantern.
Yeah. I think I've heard, I gotta watch. I plan on getting catching up on my new releases next month. Uh
Mhm.
I have a lot to catch up on. Like, I know Strange Darling is another one. This um I know I'm gonna be
Yeah.
watching Late Night with the Devil later this month, and Abigail,
Mhm.
Infested. So I'm gonna catch up, guys. Don't worry, I'm gonna watch it. But I'm watching horror movies right now, so you know
Oh,
how it is.
'tis the season.
Just a season,
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
mean, even those other photos with less facial hair, I think it gives him a whole different look as well.
yeah.
It'll be
I
interesting
know.
to see what they do.
I'm really curious what the costumes look like. I mean, I'm really curious with
Yeah.
how he does with Kyle Chandler and all that. But yeah, I mean, and although unlike Kyle Chandler, um, no, where we didn't get a confirmation from James Gunn. I mean, right here, boom, James Gunn has said, "Welcome to DC, Aaron Pierre." So, I mean, it is pretty likely that the reps at DC were like, "Yeah, Kyle Chandler's cast," but we get it straight from the tap, guys. We got it, James Gunn fully saying, "Yeah, Aaron
Yeah.
Pierre, after a long and
This is
grueling
our
series
guy.
of auditions, we have our Jon Stewart," which is great. First time we're getting him in live action. A couple times he was, a couple times he was considered. I remember when they were, in the like 2000s, they were, after like the Jack Black movie failed to get traction, they considered having Jon Stewart after the popularity of his character in the animated series, but then they're like, nah, let's just go with the Hal Jordan, let's go with the OG. um Yeah, and Pierre, I also did want to mention with Aaron Pierre, he was also in Krypton. He played Dev M, which he was a series regular on that show. He was very good. He had a pretty small supporting role, so he didn't like do a ton. But for what he did, I remember that he was pretty good. Um, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think Aaron Pierre is definitely one of, and it's great that James Gunn like actually confirmed this, rather than just like,
Yes. No
oh
more speculation.
no, none of that. And
No. Be at peace knowing.
yeah, we'll be at peace knowing that we have this. So I am curious, do you think now I had a theory that this was going to be revealed at New York Comic Con. Now I'm
Yeah. That's
curious to
coming up.
ask which is in a couple weeks, couple days. I think it's like the
I
14th
think
or
on the night.
something, or
I think
I
it's
think
the
it's
19th.
okay, so it's next week. Um I that's understandable with like the trend where it's like people want it, so they give it to. But the thing is, nobody was really clamoring for Kyle Chandler as Green Lantern. They just went with him because they couldn't get their big A-lister that they wanted because nobody wanted it.
Mhm.
So they're
Mhm.
like, okay, let's get Kyle Chandler. Nobody was clamoring for Kyle Chandler as Green Lantern, so I don't think that should be like worrisome. Like Nicholas
A big
Holt
fit
wasn't
factor.
like the guy for Lex Luthor, or nobody was championing Rachel Brosnahan for Lois Lane. So outside of David
Mhm.
Corenswet and Aaron Pierre, those are like the only ones that like where fans pushed for it, and then we eventually got it. And the thing is, it's not like the
Mhm.
DCEU didn't do that either. Like we had Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke. Everybody and their brother wanted him as Deathstroke, and he was cast as Deathstroke. So it's not like
Yeah.
totally out of nowhere that
People
it's not
come up
like
with these
people come
ideas.
up with these, and then you know what, he listens to them, and but for more often than not, we've got an entire cast of characters um that weren't fan cast for Superman, for Lantern. I mean, not a lot of people were really championing Millie Alcock as Supergirl that much either. So obviously
Hmm.
we'll see, but I don't think you should be worried about Batman. I don't think we're going to be getting like Jensen Ackles or Alan Ritchson. I mean, maybe I'll eat crow in the next couple weeks and that'll be revealed. But
It'll be
or the
like,
next
yeah,
couple months, I should
newsflash.
say. Um, but I don't think we should worry about like trend fan castings. I don't think so. I think he's just that good of an actor, and I think he's genuinely good for the role that
It
they're like, all
gains,
right,
yeah.
to hell
I
with
think it
it.
just gains
So
enough momentum that it becomes kind of clear, like, oh, not only probably our executives pushing for this, but then the fans are as well. And then it might seem like, oh, it was all driven by fans, but sometimes it's just kind of a great choice, and a lot of people get on board.
yeah. So I am curious to know your thoughts because I had the theory, as I mentioned before, I had the theory of, you know, that John Stewart was going to be cast, like the casting announcement was going to be, um, uh, it was going to be, oh, he's going to be announced at New York Comic Con now because they
Mhm.
did, because I mean, James Gunn is going to be there for a Creature Commandos thing. Do you think anything else important will be, announced at New York Comic Con, or are they just going to stick with Creature Commandos stuff?
That's a great question. To be honest, I feel like they could have a surprise in their pockets there that they might, whip out, and then could become big news. But yeah, so far all these really announced that it was just going to be Creature Commandos. Um, yeah, I don't really know of anything else that they've kind of are
Right.
close to deciding on. So I mean, you're right. This was probably, since it was so neck and neck, and we knew it was going to be coming out soon, it would have made sense that they would have done that. But maybe they released that information now because they have something else that they might wanna
Possibly.
hopefully announce. So yeah, I have
Yeah,
no idea, but I'm excited
definitely.
to hear what could be happening.
Yeah, I think I don't think it's gonna be
Yeah,
anything like major. It might be attributed to like Penguin stuff, maybe Superman and Lois
could
stuff.
be.
I don't think, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I think others were right that we're not gonna have anything major in terms of to pick up. I assume he's talking about this. It's right on the screen, watcher. I think that's I think that's what we're talking about. I don't know. You might be talking about something else. We'll go check on that. But I think like they might have some sort of surprise, but it won't be that big to detract from Creature Commandos. I thought maybe like, but I remember somebody saying they're like, oh, they don't want to pull a Marvel and announce things at Comic Cons or any type of con.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can see that. Like they want to, again, do their own thing, do it the way
Right.
they
Be
want to do it.
separate.
So that could be it. So I think yeah, whatever they have in store, I'm stoked for. I'm excited for Aaron Pierre as, you know, Green Lantern, our next Green Lantern.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I
me too.
this is great casting. Like I don't have a ton of faith in the show itself, but I will say I like all three castings of all three Green Lanterns. Like I think
Yeah.
ironically Nathan Fillion probably would have been better as Hal Jordan, especially with the age that they wanted.
I
But
can kind
I
of see
still
that a
think,
little bit.
hey Lenny, I'm glad Lenny, very glad Lenny. I'm glad you like that casting. I know you've been kind of skeptic, the biggest skeptic here, which is fine, which is totally fair. Like, so that's cool. Um, but yeah, we are gonna get into the little bit of Peacemaker, so don't worry, guys. We are gonna be talking about that. So yeah, I think I it just so serious is avoiding me. I was like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so, Lenny. I think you're okay. Um, yeah. JK. Whoa, Nathan,
You've
in
been
my
called
opinion,
out,
looks nothing
John.
like Hal. So that's interesting. Um, you're the only one I've seen that doesn't like Nathan Fillion as Hal because I mean he did voice him in think it was Green Lantern Emerald Knights or something like that. Um Now, okay, so here's the thing with Kyle Chandler. Here's the thing, and I'm not saying he wasn't like officially cast. Obviously, he was cast in the main role. What I was talking about specifically is the fact that James Gunn didn't say this. Obviously, that
Didn't
doesn't
say
totally
on
matter.
X.
Obviously Kyle Chandler's cast like that. Kyle Chandler's it's not like, oh no, he's not really. It's not like James Gunn is going to come out in 2 days like squash the rumor that Kyle Chandler isn't. No, Kyle Chandler's Green Lantern. What I was just kind of like joking about a little bit was like James Gunn was like, "Yep, Aaron Pierre, we have our John
Yes.
Stewart, we have our second Green Lantern as part of Lanterns." Like that's the thing
He
I was
gave him
mainly talking about.
his tweet of or his, do they still call him tweets? His tweet of welcome. Yeah.
His thread,
His
I don't know
thread.
what you would call it on Threads, but yeah, Superman and Lois
I
was
don't know.
great. We reviewed that the other day, so feel free if you would want to go check that out, Lenny, after this. But you knit
Knit.
on
Oh,
Threads,
is it called a
uh,
knit? I like that.
a knit, a
He gave
string.
him his knit of welcome.
Yes. So that's the main thing I was talking about, and not like I was saying. Okay, yes, don't worry, we're gonna get into that, but I just want to finish up with this a little bit. But yeah, just kind of in conclusion with our thoughts here, we both think that Aaron Pierre is a good addition to the DCU. We both think he'll do a very
Definitely.
good job. He does look a little bit older than his age a little bit. Like he looks more about like 35, and he's actually 30. So you sew a
And I
thread,
think the
yes.
facial hair really does that to him.
The
I
I
think
think the
when
facial hair,
he's
but even without the facial hair, he looks a little bit. So I think they would need
a
to
little bit,
shave
yeah.
it, maybe like um, really like make sure like they make him look like a someone who's a little bit younger. But I think I'm just really curious with that chemistry. Like I'm really curious how they're gonna make that work, and I do hope
Yeah.
so. I think I remember somebody talking about this. So I think Aaron Pierre is definitely the type of guy. when we were talking about, I think it was Kelvin Harrison Jr. when he was like the front runner at one point. Um, that Aaron Pierre, he looks like the type of guy who's old enough where he would understand the world and understand like he's a smart guy who knows everything in regards to what he's done thus far, whether it's just a Marine or architect. I don't know if they're going to include the architect thing here because that was kind of a little bit older when he was first introduced. So I think that could be a lot of fun, although Isabella Merced is a lot younger than he is. So I don't know if they're going to make that work, but maybe they will. Let's hope, because I know a lot of people like that ship in the animated series.
Yeah.
But I think with Aaron Pierre, I think he looks old enough, but he also still has like a bit of look to him where he's like, he'll still be very naive when it comes to anything Green Lantern since he's going to be a rookie. So I think we're going to get a lot of great things from him. Let's hope. Still not totally happy about that writing team that's ahead at the Lanterns production block because oof. But that's let's not get into that. But the next thing, Gunn is yeah, but like I don't think they're gonna introduce another Hawk Girl, and with how completely and utterly butt fucked the Hawk people like continuity is. I don't think they're going to introduce I don't think they're going to introduce the Thanagarians or anything like that. It's just, it's way too confusing. I think they're just going to introduce Kendra Saunders and all that.
I mean, that you're not wrong about the age. I do think like, even if it is a weird age gap, it's been done before in a lot of things. Like, I can't even remember, but I think like in The Witcher, for example, Henry Cavill, forget the girl, I think she was like 19, and people were like, that's weird, but they were still in a relationship.
Yeah, but I don't think they're gonna introduce Shayara or anything like that. I don't think that's in the
I do agree at that point.
But I would like to, see whether they are in a romance or just platonic. I would love to see them team up at one point. I think that would be fun, and then maybe introduce Vixen, get that love triangle going that a lot of people seem to love.
Just to pay off the series.
Paradise Lost. I don't remember reading about Paradise Lost, but if Dan can find it, maybe we can get into that a little bit. So yeah, I think but that's about it in regards to Green Lantern. I a lot of people are excited. Yeah, I think it's fine. But a lot of other people want to get us into that Peacemaker image. So we'll get into the Peacemaker image. Now, James Gunn released this before, all the, like literally an hour before Aaron Pierre was like confirmed by, James Gunn. We got this, very vague looking picture about what looks to be an older Native American character just sitting by a fire. So I'm like, okay, let's see here, because I mean, he looks like he does have slightly darker skin. He's got like wearing feathers. He's in like more of like a stereotypical Native American dress, I guess.
Garb.
And so I feel like that's what they're alluding to here. Now, there isn't many Native American heroes or villains. I mean, you have a couple, but not a ton. Yes. Well, she's just busy right now. She's just busy. It's fine. Don't worry. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Maybe next time. But I mean, there's a couple that I know. The only ones I really know are Black Condor, who is like part of the Freedom Fighters, and then Apache Chief, which was part of Super Friends, because they were trying to make it more diverse. They're like, let's throw a Native American guy in there, sure. So they threw him in there, or there was like maybe a rights issues or something. But yeah, I think it's definitely intriguing. It definitely, as James Gunn loves to do, loves to tease, loves to, needle his audience because he's like, I can't like be
Yeah.
squashing rumors only left and right. We gotta, tease him a
Mhm.
bit. He loves to tease. James Gunn, Uncle
Well,
Jimmy, as Dan loves to call him now, loves to tease. So what are your? I know you don't know much about like Peacemaker stuff, but I'm just curious to know your thoughts
yeah.
on this.
Well, I guess I'm just wondering if he's now teased this today. Do you potentially think that come the New York Comic Con, this might be something he expands more on, or you think it's going to be its own announcement later on?
That could be the announcement, possibly at New York Comic Con, where it's like, oh, we're gonna be joined by. Now, I'm just really curious if it's a villain or a hero. That's the thing, because it's
Yes.
it's is he with Argus? Is he with the Peacemaker crew? Is he with Frank Grillo? Frank Grillo's Rick
Mm,
Flag Senior. So it's like, all right,
uh-huh.
let's see. Or his
Right.
like, there's a kind of like the lone wolf with Native American characters in media. Um,
Mhm.
I don't think so. I don't. I mean, it could be. I mean, there is, yeah. It's like they go for full dances with wolves, where he gets like adopted into like a Native American tribe for some reason. I don't think they're gonna do that. That might be seen as like offensive or something. He is like,
Yeah.
from what little you can see of him, he is pretty light skinned, but there's like lighter skinned Native Americans. They're usually pretty light skinned. So yeah, so I was thinking Apache Chief. That I mean, that would be a really weird character to bring in, because that is like Silver Age Super Friends. That was where the character was introduced. So I don't know. I don't think it's Rick Flag. It's just like, and because look how old he is. Like, look at the top of his head. That's gray white hair.
Yeah. Unless
Like
it's like platinum blonde. It's like
that's
shining in the
like,
moonlight.
yeah, it's like that's a little bit too old for our boy Rick Flag, unless he
I
like
think
got
I do look older.
traumatized and like his hair went white, but I think that's been
He was
a myth.
president for 4 years and then
Yeah, he aged like a
all his
president
gray
and
hair.
then just, you know, but I don't think it's Rick Flag. I think that would be a weird thing to do. Um ah, ouch. Oh, that's mean.
Oh my
Uh
gosh. Aw.
that's
I
terrible.
mean,
Honestly,
why would you be
she was the
shirtless? But
best. She was the best, like, love interest. Ursula was the best love interest for Peter.
oh
Like, outside of all those, fuck
yeah.
Gwen Stacy, fuck Mary. I will say I love those movies, but fucking Mary Jane, she was a fucking bitch in those movies. Get the fuck out of here.
Pretty much. I
Um,
kind of agree.
so
Yeah.
yeah, Ursula was the best. Like, she made him cookies, she made him cake. Like, that's like, maybe I'm just a traditional
Yeah, she
man. That's
liked
just
him.
like, that's just great right there. And she clearly
She
loved
did
him,
way
and
to his stomach.
she's a looker, all right. So you know what, guys? Don't be mean to Ursula, all right? Ursula Ditkovich is fucking. She's
Yeah.
based. We love her.
Uh,
Um,
so
Possibly.
funny.
I don't think they're gonna be. I don't think they're gonna be doing like a native thing.
Mhm.
I mean, it's possible, but it's like from what we've seen in Creature Commandos, I know we've only gotten like a trailer and a couple clips here and there, but I don't think um I don't think they're gonna be doing like, oh, it's a white guy who had got adopted by Native American stuff. Um
Like Tars. Yeah. Wait, not
no, it's okay.
Tarzan, sorry.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm
I know what you
busting
mean.
your balls, Buster Barnes, so don't you worry. Um
Yeah, I kind
but
of feel
yeah,
like if they did that, it's like opening this can of worms
yeah.
that, you know.
Green Arrow. Interesting. Again, I think that's a little bit too old. I
Mhm.
think maybe it's just a totally original character and James Gunn is just fucking with us. That would be great. Um
Hey Lenny, my name is Bridget, by the way. Thanks for asking.
Bridget, she's been on the show before. She was
My
we were
baby
talking
blue
about
eyes.
Kite Man with her a lot. I think you missed those.
Yes, yes, I loved.
I just think it's too old. I think he just looks too old. Like
I think it's
I'm
something
seeing it
older.
as like gray hair, not blonde hair. So I think
That's
it's
what
like an
I'm.
older Native American. I think like I'm gonna say Apache Chief.
Yeah, that's my best guess too. Yeah, it
Lenny
seems
is
like he's
just
already after
gonna
Fiona.
Lenny
So
Lenny is just gonna swindle all the oh so curious girls, and it's just gonna be Lenny's gonna have a harem by the end of the year of like all the oh so curious gals. Um,
yeah, yeah.
hello, smirk. Wink.
Don't worry, I'll keep my boundaries strictly professional. I'm a professional host on this show and won't take it farther than that.
And
Sorry.
but yeah, I think so I think it'll either be an original character and James Gunn is just screwing with us, or it's like gonna be like or it's gonna be like older character that nobody really knows, maybe Apache Chief. I know there's a couple other ones. I know Dawn Star is another one, but they're usually in the Legion of Superheroes, um, or something like that. But yeah, because like the only other famous one is like Marvel ones, like Warpath and Moonstar and Forge and all those guys. So I think yeah, I can't really think of anybody specific for like a Native American character, which isn't bad. Like it would be fine if it was just like,
Like an
oh,
original.
just an original character. And but yeah,
Yeah.
Michael Rooker. Maybe they're doing maybe they're doing that. Who knows? But yeah, I'm curious to keep those theories flowing about this guy because I'm curious with how
Definitely
this will turn out.
intriguing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
intriguing. Makes me a little bit, even though I didn't love the first season of Peacemaker, it was fine. It wasn't great. It makes me intrigued with what they're gonna do because they've been teasing a lot and getting people excited and all that. So yeah, this is just another James Gunn get people excited thing, but
Yeah,
nothing too
totally.
crazy. So yeah, I think
Yes.
James Gunn loves to tease, as we all know, as we keep
I
saying
know.
here. James Gunn loves to Piranha Beast. Yeah, and I did forget that. Like maybe they're taking a um maybe they're taking like a previously white character that was maybe problematic nowadays and making him Native American. So that's also a case. They might be
Maybe.
race swapping. Although I guess that would be race. Yeah. So they might be race swapping. So they
Making
might
it
be
more
doing
accurate.
that and then yeah. Honestly, that's good inspiration to have. So you know what? If we're getting Northman vibes, then cool, awesome. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go. But yeah, but last but not certainly not least, we need to get into some fan comments. We haven't gotten into fan unless you guys did
Mhm.
that yesterday. We haven't gotten into fan comments in a while. Zon McLaren, that guy
We did.
is incredibly talented. That would be a great addition to the DCU. But if that's the actor involved, that would be awesome because he's really talented. But I think he's on Echo,
Mhm.
so I think he might be busy with that. So who knows? Because I heard they were trying to get season 2 off the ground. Um, honestly, yeah, that's what it is. But yeah,
How did you know?
uh, but yeah, so that's you know about the Lantern's core. You spelled
Core.
core wrong. It's PS. Um, but I think yeah, no.
Oh
But going
gosh.
back to Green Lanterns, I'm excited for this cast. From what you've seen of these
I
guys, what are your thoughts on these guys? Like all three of them put together, like maybe on screen eventually. What are your thoughts on that?
yeah, I mean, I think even just this image here is great. I love seeing all of the animation in the back too. Just it's really cool to see like, okay, this is what's going to come to life. And seeing the photos, I'm like, okay, and actually, they really I see the resemblance in all of them. I think, Kyle, I mean, I think he's maybe the least likely that's like, oh, he looks like him. But I think Nathan looks a lot like Guy, and looks a lot like Jon Stewart. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that they did obviously really, even with the writing, isn't hopefully, if it's not that great, at least the casting did their job. And I think it's going to be exciting to see. Also, like I was saying yesterday, kind of like the passing of the baton, as a setup to maybe getting Jon Stewart into the Green Lantern pack there, and
Maybe.
having him maybe take on the next series on his own is my guess.
Yeah.
Just because he's the fan favorite from the Justice League.
Yeah.
As it. Yeah.
There was a leak that said other. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that's kind of obvious that other heroes are already out in the DCU. But don't worry, Lenny. We're just busting each other. We love your. It's funny drama. That's all it is. We're not actually mad. I'm not actually mad. I don't think Dan's mad either. So don't you worry. It's fine. You're okay. Everything's okay. We're all chill. We're just having fun. That's all. So don't worry. As Fiona said, it's all laugh. You're funny. It's okay. It's okay. Don't. We appreciate that you're like, all right. If anyone's actually mad, I
at least
don't
you're acknowledging.
it's like, don't worry. You're okay. We swear you're okay. Don't you worry. We don't want to see you leave. We love your comments. You're a regular now. We're not going to let you go that easily, Lenny. Come on now. We love you too much.
We enjoy the banter. It's fun.
But yeah, I think all three of these guys are going to do a great job, and I hope that it might jack up spinach sales, like straight up. Or unless you're talking about the chicken restaurant, then I'm good with either. Like I love me.
They're owned by WB. Wow.
But yeah, Popeyes better than Chick-fil-A. There, I said it. But yeah, I think all three of these guys are going to do a great job. I hope we see more. I do hope that we see more of, Guy, and Dan's theory doesn't come true of like, oh, he's gonna get fucking murdered, and that's the start of, Lanterns, because that would be dumb. But I do think that that. And I personally, I don't think Jon Stewart's like immediately gonna. I don't think like Hal is gonna die by the end of the series. I don't know who Kurt Angle is. I don't think Hal Jordan's gonna die by the end of the series. Personally, I don't want it to happen, because then we don't care about him. If he does become like Parallax later on, we need to like care about him more. So I just hope that
it doesn't get too dark too fast.
For Batman and Joker? Yeah, I know Robin Williams was, because they wanted Jack Nicholson. He was taking too long. They're like, Robin Williams, hey, do you want to be Joker? And he was like, yes. And then Jack Nicholson said yes. And they were like, okay, yeah, fuck you, Robin Williams. We don't want you. And he heard that he was essentially just used as, because I think they went back to Jack Nicholson like, hey, Jack Nicholson, okay, that's why I don't care. Jack Nicholson, if you don't say yes, we're gonna go with Robin Williams. And Jack Nicholson, his ego was like, no, fine, I'll be Joker. And so they're like, all right, fuck off, Robin Williams. And Robin Williams found out that he was used as bait, and he was like, yeah, I'm never working with WB again unless they apologize. Wow. And I don't think they ever apologized. And because they wanted him for the Riddler in what was initially Tim Burton's Batman 3, Batman Continues was one of, I think, the only title they put down. And so he's like, nah, hell with that. I don't want to deal with that. So they got Jim Carrey instead. But eventually when Joel Schumacher came into it. But yeah, I'm hoping that Jordan does not. I don't think Catwoman's gonna show up in the Penguin, and I don't yes, that's true. And I don't think Sophia Falcone is gonna die. That's just like, she's just like immediately too great of a character to just die after one season. But who knows? It is more, it's that gangster mobster vibe. So that might.
So anything can happen.
I don't think she's gonna die after this past episode. That's just ridiculous. I think. I hope she doesn't die by the end of the season. Yeah, Kristen Milioti. is amazing. And I think her Zoe Kravitz could be good. Like maybe she fakes her death at the end of the Penguin, and then if Catwoman gets a spinoff, she'll join up with Catwoman. That could be a lot
That
of
would be
fun.
cool.
But sorry, Antonio, I ignored your question. Who do you think plays Jessica Cruz? I'm hoping this homegirl from Supergirl, she plays Zatanna, or what's her Leslie Grace, I think her name was. Jessica Cruz. I don't know who you're talking about for Super. If you're talking about Melissa Benoist, that would be wrong. Jessica Cruz is Hispanic, so I don't know if that would work. But Diane Guerrero is my choice. I would want her back in the DCU. I know she was initially Crazy Jane, so I would love to see her back as a different, because I think she would do that very well. She has a lot of range, and I think she would be really good and she voiced her in Justice League versus the Fatal Five. So I'd love to see her, but I don't think they're going to introduce her just yet. I think they're just going to have that initial trifecta of those Green Lanterns. So yeah, I think no, I believe it.
Yes.
Dan, come on. You got to be realistic here, my buddy. Like, it's, got to be realistic here. It's okay. Like, not everyone's a fighter. Dan's a lover, not a fighter. That's the thing. He's,
yeah, you should see him with their dog. He is.
I think a Catwoman spinoff would be great. Bring the idea of a Catwoman spinoff back from the dead. Because God knows fucking Halle Berry and WB killed it with that one movie, even though Halle Berry can laugh it off now. But I would love to see a Catwoman spinoff done right, done well. Yeah, so I love her. So yeah, I would love that. I would love a lot of things. I'm gonna love Aaron Pierre. I'm gonna love whatever Native American character they bring into Peacemaker. I'm gonna love this. I'm gonna love that. So, I think I hope the DCU has a bright future ahead. I was just
exciting, all of that.
Yeah, it is. It is like I'm loving these announcements. We're getting more announcements. I know Lenny was like hardened for an announcement. I know it's not Supergirl. Sorry, Lenny. But there's a lot of greatness that's coming to the DCU, and I hope that we're getting something worthwhile. I was just getting in a spat with a buddy of mine who hates James Gunn, and he was like, "This, especially after Joker Folie à Deux, DC on the big screen needs a win," and I think Folie à Deux kind of. Okay, Sasha Calle. Sasha Calle could be good. Yes, I don't know if she would be able to do Jessica Cruz, but I think I think that would be a good choice.
I heard people also mention her.
Yeah.
If they do end up doing Star Sapphire, I heard people also mention her.
Yes, I do actually have. If we ever get to this, Dan, we got to do it this week. I don't care what breaking news is like tomorrow or Friday or whatever. I think tomorrow. Because I think we're doing Also Curious Friday, but tomorrow, Dan, we're doing that Lantern Corps thing that we've been trying to fucking do. I don't care what breaking news comes out tomorrow. We are doing that damn fan casting because I wanna fucking do that. And I do have Star Sapphire. I have to tweak it a bit because after Kyle Chandler got cast, so I do have to. There is going to be some tweaks, but I'm hoping Dan, we're doing that. Like that's good. You know what? It's confirmed, and you're not going to sway me any other way. We're doing that tomorrow. We are doing that fan cast tomorrow. I don't care how long it'll be, a 5-hour stream. I don't care. We're doing that tomorrow. I'm forcing you to do it.
Hell or high water.
Gun to your head. But joking aside, I'm excited for the future. I just hope that they can bring goodwill back to thank you, Dan. It'll bring some goodwill back to DC because they need it. Like the last 5 movies have been, I don't know, unless they really, because the thing is, Joker is just so far removed from Superman. It's so different. And so I don't think it'll affect it too. It'll still affect it a little bit, not as much. Not maybe farther than you would think, because I don't want them to introduce Kyle and Jessica too soon, especially the Kyle,
While they're
because he can only
focused on
really be
this.
brought in for Parallax. Let's just focus on these three guys. But
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
I think Joker will affect it a little bit, but not a lot, because I mean, if it was Joker and then we were getting like a Batman movie like immediately after, yeah, I think that would um are you talking about Anna Diop? Um because I mean, there's a lot of actresses on Titans. I don't know who that is, but I'll trust your judgment on that. I personally, I would go with Tyler Posey or Dylan O'Brien. They would be good for Kyle Rayner. Um, but I do think we're getting a lot of great stuff. But before we go on and on, let's we'll stop talking about Grand Lanterns for a little bit. We are gonna Dylan O'Brien is, I believe, a quarter. I don't know if Mexican specifically, but he is like, I think,
Oh,
half or a quarter Hispanic. Tyler Posey's also half Hispanic as well. Ha! I did.
yeah.
You didn't think I would
Sure.
know that. You didn't think I would remember that, but I do know it. Don't at me. Fan casting was in my blood for years, so don't even try me on that. But
And they're both
let's
from
get
Teen
into
Wolf. It's not funny.
yeah. Um yeah, someone a little older, obviously, but I think she would do a good
Hmm.
job. But let's get into
Hmm.
fan comments. I'm gonna get into fan comments, all right? Because you know how it is. But so Jay Kells, who I believe is on the stream right now, post crisis for comic book readers and Just League Unlimited for no comic book readers have an audience of fans that have been waiting for something from DC/WB on the big screen since. Even though I loved Man of Steel, most general audience fans of DC characters couldn't relate to it because it was an unfamiliar version of Superman. It's also why the Green Lantern movie failed, because most of the general audiences Green Lantern was is hunched John Stewart. I fully agree with that. I think, as I was saying before, last week or a couple of days ago, or Monday, I forget. All the days blur together at this point. But I that's what I was saying. Like, post crisis, the fans that are seeing these movies grew up with post crisis. Like, because like
Mhm.
not a lot of like late Gen Z, early Gen Alpha are not really going to see these movies. It's mainly like millennials, late Gen X type of thing, where they grew up with, Superman the animated series, Batman the animated series, Justice League, um, you know, and hell, even like some of the Marvel stuff at the time, like Fantastic Four and Iron Man and Hulk. Not like that. I know that's the other company, but um I think it's just too perfect. Plus, it introduces characters that are not that haven't been really showcased on the big screen. This is the first. I want to. Thank you. But I think this is the first time we've gotten John Stewart in live action. I'll look that up. I'll look that up. But because I don't think we ever got him in
Yeah.
like Smallville or anything. He might have been like
If
the only
no,
time
yeah.
that he has was like Wayne T. Carr, who was supposed to be in that post-credit scene for Zack Snyder's Justice League, but they weren't going to use him because they planned to do that Green Lantern show with Greg Berlanti. So like, we have plans for John Stewart, don't use him. So he had to use Martian Manhunter instead, which made no sense and was a huge plot hole. So
Wow.
yeah, we're so
Good.
technically, although they already updated the Wikipedia, he was going to be played by Aaron Pierre in Lanterns. But Wayne T. Carr was the closest we ever got to getting a live action. Um, that was the closest, because there was actual footage that was shot. Common was supposed to be in Justice League Mortal. That was also pretty close to happening. I think he could have been a great John Stewart, but I think
Mhm.
yeah. So I think that's yeah. So we're finally getting Green Lantern in
Yeah.
John
It's
Stewart
huge.
Green
I mean,
Lantern live
that's
action, and
big.
then we're gonna be getting Guy Gardner soon, who I also don't think has
Mhm.
ever appeared in live action either. But obviously, you guys know better than me. I always like I have so much DC information in my head, but like there's only so much I can input into my brain. So yeah, I think oh no, we did get Guy Gardner. I forgot, the fucking Justice League of America pilot back in 1997. Ugh, less said about that, the better. We did get
Wow.
Guy Gardner there. He didn't look like Guy, he didn't act like Guy, so that's why I forgot about him.
Was he even
But
really Guy then? Probably not.
he wasn't. He looked like Hal Jordan, but with like the leather jacket, and it looked terrible. It looked like it was like
Yeah.
blue green. It was bad. But I think he was there was a consideration for a cameo in the Green Lantern movie, but I don't think Guy Gardner ever
Mhm.
appeared there. So we're getting all these characters but not just Green Lantern. Like I even recommended, like, since Ezra Miller shit the bed and is a complete dickbag, like, okay, let's not use Barry Allen for
Mhm.
a while. And on top of the fact Grant Gustin played him for 10 years. So let's not
Yeah.
have these guys. Let's not have Barry Allen. And the people. Fact of the matter is, the people who grew up with Post Crisis know Wally West as the Flash. So why not bring Wally West in? So you could bring in all these like
Right.
characters that we're unfamiliar with, but still familiar with, like legacy characters that you can bring in,
Mhm.
and eventually, like, they become household names. They become like these known characters, because that's what Post Crisis can really do. And then like having all these animated shows and all these characters, and it's just too perfect. Post Crisis, was around for from the mid 80s. I forget when Crisis ended. I think it was 85. I want to say 85, 86. And then it ended in 2011, but that was like a huge, like almost, I was like around 30 years, almost 30 years of comics that people
Yeah.
loved. Rocky a bit, but a lot of people love those comics, and a lot of people grew up with those, good or not, and that's the stuff they're familiar with. So tapping into that audience is fantastic.
Yeah.
And
It's
so
that's the
I think
smartest
that's
thing they should
perfect.
be doing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think a lot of
That's,
people
that's
will
who they're making the
gravitate
films
towards that.
for. Why would you? Yeah.
Yeah, actually make it for the
It's
fans
yeah.
and not the 1% of people that complain about everything that won't see these movies anyway. But this
Right.
was our, Miraculous, who I also think is in the chat today. James Hawes, this is the director who was confirmed for the first 2 episodes, is a great get for directing the Lanterns premiere. As far as the story goes, I'm still holding on to my theory that the murder in the Heartland will involve a cult that worships the Center, which lines up with the ancient horror hinted at in the show's logline. Not sure about Guy being the victim, though. Time will tell. I don't want Guy to be the victim, because that would be really disingenuous to
Mhm.
you know that would be funny. Honestly, do it, guys, for the upcoming Street Fighter movie. Do it. Uh but I just don't want, I don't want Guy to fucking die. So I know it's comics, nobody stays dead, but even then, I don't want Guy to immediately fucking die. That's again the first real live action iteration of Guy, and then we're getting he immediately
Already
dies.
like
That's
yeah.
that's not fair. That sucks. That's stupid. So I think we're gonna be
Yeah. I mean, they did all
getting,
this work to cast him anyway,
yeah,
to
and they
find
got
the
Nathan
right
Fillion
guy
now.
for Guy.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And
may as well use
I
him.
think, yeah, James Hawes is a great TV director. And, I don't know the Center. Oh, was that brought up in Blackest Night? I don't remember. Hang on, DC. Oh yeah, no, you were talking about that. That was in Justice League: The New Frontier. He did mention that was an inspiration, Justice League or DC: The New Frontier. So that might be something. I don't think they're gonna be doing that, but that could be a good theory. Um, Maybe a cult like thing. Maybe it involves one of the other Lantern cores. Not Sinestro. I think that would be too quickly. And I think this is an ongoing series. So I do think yeah, I'm excited, as I keep saying. Like I'm stoked. I'm not like too excited. I'm like in between cautiously optimistic and excited. I'm like not
Mhm.
totally there yet, but
Right.
I think Aaron
So
Pierre,
you don't
that
want to
was a
be
good
too
choice.
disappointed.
Exactly. Aaron
Mhm.
Pierre is a good choice. Nathan Fillion was a good choice. And Kyle Chandler is a good choice. I think they're all good. I think Aaron Pierre is probably the best out of 3. I think the best casting out of those 3. But again,
Mhm.
I'm actually, uh, yeah, I haven't read them, but
Yeah. That's
I
actually a
don't
great
really have a ton
idea.
of interest. I don't have a ton of interest in the Absolute line, but you know how it is. Um, but yeah, I think this
Just
is
help
gonna
get my
be,
knowledge up.
yeah. I think this is definitely a good new era for DC. Hopefully. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. So I'm not usually hopeful and optimistic. So this means something, guys. This means something.
Yeah.
So, you know, but yeah, but that is, kind of it for today. So we don't have like a ton. We just mainly it was the Aaron Pierre news and then that strange
casting.
image that James Gunn had. But yeah, we're kind of winding down for today. Thank you guys for your comments. I'm gonna call you out. Lenny being naughty. Lenny, Antonio, the Watcher, Ron, Hunter Iggy, Calm Down Rich, you guys have all miraculous. You guys have all been, we all love your comments. We can't get to every single one. We apologize for that, but we love your comments. Keep them coming. Comment. And if you're not watching it live, thank you for your comments as well. Maybe you can be, we're going to start getting back into fan comments again. So hopefully you guys will be featured and that'll give you guys some incentive to maybe comment more post live show.
Yeah. Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, on Aaron Pierre, the three of them, the Peacemaker image, possibly future lanterns, maybe some fan casting there, maybe even Star Sapphire. That was a quick thing that we were talking about a little bit. So yeah, I think we had a lot of good information. We had a lot of good, Green Lantern stuff. Like, oh, look at that beautiful, yeah, a lot of lantern stuff today. So we it's a good time. It's been a good time today, guys. We've appreciated you. I appreciate talking to Bridget again. It's been a while. So, we busy schedules, but that's okay. But very, very okay. So don't you worry. But that's it. So, and also guys, give us a like, give us even a dislike. If you hated this video, you can even dislike it. That's fine. We don't mind. Just keep that algorithm going. Just keep that algorithm going. Just liking and disliking, that's fine. But subscribe, maybe even do the subscribe down there. And if you're already subscribed, please. I know the notification bell isn't the best thing, but it's the closest thing to know on a somewhat consistent basis when we're going live, because we're trying to tap down a certain thing, but busy schedules and whatnot. So that's it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate all your comments. We appreciate all your support. As this channel is slowly growing up there, hopefully we can let's try for 1 million subscribers by the end of the year. I think that's a good goal to have. But that's it for now, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow for another DCU Daily.